This is a video of how to prep your bag for the day. Make sure everything was done correctly the night before with the money, and make sure that you set your day to day up for success. Step number 1 is opening the safe and getting the money. To open the safe, you need the code, which will be in your manager's handbook in this giant Bible. To find that, you're going to go to the General Managers tab and look at the outline. Money and deposit is number 1, so you will flip to the tab that has the number 1, and you will read where the code is and how to get into the safe. Once you get your safe opened, this is pretty much what it'll look like, give or take some money, and you're gonna grab the bag. From there, I'm going to open up everything that is in the bag and lay it out. The first thing I want to look for is going to be our cash deposit slip. We make sure that we fill it out every day. It'll be signed by a manager with how much we started the bag with. It should be filled out every single shift, which it has not been. So that's where we need to make sure we're telling everybody, hey, fill out your slip at the end of every shift so that we know what you started your bag with, because technically at this moment, our bag is short. When I say our bag is short, I don't know yet, but the way to explain that is we should have $100 in fives, $50 in ones, and 3 rolls of quarters. The reason I can see this at the moment is because I only have 2 rolls of quarters, which means somebody exchanged it within the shift, and let's hope that our bag is correct. So to start the bag, I need to make sure I have the 100 in fives, 50 in ones, and 3 rolls of quarters. So I'm going to go through and count my fives. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. 20 fives is going to be 100. So I'm going to paper clip that and set it to the side. I'm going to make sure all my ones are correct. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. So you want to make sure your ones are bundled in 25s. Perfect. And then I currently only have 2 rolls of quarters, so I'm gonna have to get one from the safe to start my bag. And there's a 10 that's kind of floating around in the bag, which I'm going to assume at the moment is for that exchange that happened last night. So again, to start the bag, I just am missing 1 roll of quarters. I'm gonna grab a roll and make sure I go put it into my bag. Next step is I'm going to fill out my cash memo sheet. So these can look different depending on where we get them. So this is the one that we've been using, but this is also what it can look like. Same concept, make sure you just fill out where your money is at and how much is in there, and then sign it as a manager. On Fridays and Saturdays, we open up both drawers, so drawer 1 and drawer 2. So during the week, I like to write drawer main. That's going to be our main drawer that's open, which will be the main drawer that's facing the bar. Make sure you put the date. And then we're going to make sure we add everything correctly. So the number is going to be how many is in this pile. So we have 25s, which equals $100.00. We have 51s, which equals $50.00. And then I like to write 3 rolls. So I do 3R, which is going to be $30. And then I write 180 at the bottom to total it out. And then I sign right here with my initials so that we know that I did the bag. After that is complete, I'm going to put my bundle of 5s, my 2 bundles of 1s, the cashier's slip, and our 3 rolls of quarters into the bag. That is going to be our start of the day. And then we need to make sure that every shift is filling out the back in case they take money out. Now I can set that to the side and start with the money that was left over in the bag. What I'm going to do now is I would prefer these to be put into an order a different way, but that's for another system at another time. I'm going to look at the tops of all of these and find the closing shift. and I'm going to grab the closing shift receipt. This is going to be all the details for the shift from whatever time that server left until close. And this should be the very last thing that's done. So last night, the drawer was closed out at 11:19 p.m. And we need to make sure that we go through this completely. So the drawer was short 1 cent. I'm not going to look into that. It's 1 cent. It's okay. If it was more, that's another step in the process, and I can make another video another day. This is going to be our starting amount. This is going to be our sales for that specific time frame, and then our cash detailed. So this is where we need to look when we're starting the bag for the day. And then at the bottom, it's going to say our credit card receipts. So if we ever have to go back through the credit card receipts for that specific shift scheduled, then we can look right there. So I'm going to grab the rest of my money from the bag, and I'm going to make sure that this is all even. So currently on the closeout sheet, it says there was 14 20s. Okay, let me see if I can do this. 14 20s, 5 10s, 36 5s, 83 1s, and then the coin I'm not going to really worry about because we keep that in the drawer. So if you want to fast forward through this part, feel free, but I'm going to go through this step by step completely and make sure that there's 14 20s. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14. Perfect. Then I'm going to move on and make sure that there's 5 10s. 1 2 3 4 5 6. So there's actually 6 10s, which means that this extra 10 was in fact exchanged for the quarters. So I'm not going to worry about that. There's supposed to be 36 5s. So night shift is supposed to bundle in 20. So let's make sure it's completely bundled. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14 15 16 17 18 19 20. Perfect. 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36. And yes, in fact, there is 36 5s. She also bundled all the ones. So again, this is a lot of ones. So I'm going to make sure that they're correct. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 24, and 25. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 24, 25. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Ooh. 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. All right, there is 75. Okay, one of Kip's big pet peeves is making sure our money is in order and it looks nice. If you notice while I was counting, I put a lot of bills in the front, and the reason for that is because they're straighter and they're cleaner. That way I can paper clip it correctly. So I'm going to move one of the really straight ones to the back and make it even. That way it looks nice and flush. Paper clip it, call it good. Okay, so there's 75, 76, 77, 78, 79, 80, 81, 82, and 83. Perfect. It matches. So what my next step is I am going to grab the slip and I'm going to sign my initials and say that I just counted everything. It does equal out, which are the big bills, and the closer did their job correctly. The drawer might have been only short 1 cent, but we are good to go. The next step for managers is making sure that we put everything in order. So this was the closing sheet, and this one's going to go on top. I'm going to go through the rest of the paperwork and make sure it goes from end of shift to beginning of shift. So the drawer cashed out at 8:59. That's the next one. So I'm going to put that behind. The next drawer closed out at 5:19. That's the following. And then 2:36 is the next one. I'm going to put them all together in that order. So it's, again, it's descending order. I'm going to get a big paper clip and paper clip them all in one. If it's too big and it was a really busy day, feel free to rubber band it. And then I'm going to put it into the folder next to me. We may have another system later, but to do so, we're going to put this in credit card slips in this one. And we can only do 15 days at a time, only because our slips are so big. And then that is in there for the time being. So there's usually leftover paperwork in the bag, and depending on what went on the day before, we need to go through it. There should always be lottery slips, but it should be posted with every single closeout. So I'm going to make sure this one was printed at the end of the night. So I'm going to make sure I put that with the end of the shift. There's always going to be lottery, but our bag was correct. It looked to be, our lottery sales were awesome and on compared to the last night one. So I'm going to just throw these away. There's no need to keep those. The other thing that was in the bag is going to be, well, from last night, there was Quilt Shop and the ticket. So that means anybody that comes from the Quilt Shop gets 10% off of their food. And then we should always staple the 10% off receipt from us with the Quilt Shop receipt on the back. So there's actually 3 of these. And I will put this in a file where we put all of our yearly gift cards and discount cards in. So that's usually to the right of the desk right here, and it'll just be right in that file. No need to go through it. It's just for filing purposes every year. One of the last steps is making sure that all of our non-bundled money is going to be considered our quote-unquote deposit money. So I'm going to go into the computer and click on deposits. Deposits are going to be right here. It will change every year to the correct date. I'm going to double click that. Down at the bottom, it'll have the correct month. I'm going to go to December 2022. Today is the 20th, so I'm going to be putting the deposit into the 19th. This side is going to be cash right here. This side will be checks. So I'm going to count all of the extra money that is not bundled and put it in there. So the extra money that was not bundled equaled out to be $427. The reason I do not add the bundled money is because we're going to use that money again in another bag on another day as our startup or for the drawer. If you remember, the bag did not have any checks, but I did have a check on my desk from a catering. So I'm going to put it in on the check side and have that equal out and save it. So you're going to hit the little floppy disk button, save, and you can exit out of deposit. Next, we need to start the drawer. Luckily, we had money from the bag that was already bundled. So I'm going to use the 5s that equaled out to 100. I'm going to use 2 1s that equaled out to 50. If you did not have this, you are going to go into the safe and get the money that you need for the day. Next thing I'm going to do is grab all of this extra money. The 20s should be bundled in 500s. I'm going to grab this money, organize it, make sure it's all even, make sure the check is put into the safe, and then grab any coin that I need for the day. Once that is all complete, you can shut your safe and close it. And that completes on how you start your drawer, count the bag from the night before, start your bag, and start your day for success.